So Jadu Labs is a browser extension. It's available in Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge. You can get it from jadu.net/labs or search for it. And this allows us to provide certain features. Not all features are suitable to be distributed through an extension, but certain features that you can play with and experiment with. Once you've installed it, you'll get your little toolbar. If I switch to a Jadu product, there we go. And this list may change depending on which feature you're using. It works in both Central and Connect. Some features only work for the appropriate product. The ones that are on there now range from small, tiny quality of life experiments, not particularly useful, but what you're seeing here is our first steps of, can we inject alternate styles into the software without breaking anything? Can we inject JavaScript and effect changing? Can we build, what level of feature can we deploy? So the first features that went in were fairly basic. We could, we can send that sign-in form. We can replace that lovely image with a nice image from Unsplash. If we refresh that, that will change. No, it won't change. Yes, it will change. So yeah, not particularly useful, admittedly, but they were the first proofs of concept, and they are there. I'm going to do the rest of this in Connect, just to make it easier on myself. I'll sign into our demo. So once we realized that this all was birthed really because of a feature request that came through Feature OS, or Hello Next, as it used to be called, asking for a dark mode of the software. Some people prefer it, some people get a benefit from having an alternative theme that is not as bright, not as high contrast. So we wanted to deploy that. Obviously, to deploy that across the entire software for multiple people, that's a big task. But we can deploy it through this extension in a way that you can quickly toggle it on and off, experiment with it, go through the software, and help us to find any areas of this alternate theme that don't quite work, that you can report back and say, this area of the software, it could be better, or this is outright broken, or even just say, yeah, it's brilliant, thank you very much, which will be nice. And the research and development we can get from working in this way goes all the way back to our internal design systems. We can say, right, we need to make these changes to how we manage color, how we manage the palettes. We can get feedback from my colleagues in the accessibility team about the color contrast. Is it working? What other options might we have? We can switch out the typeface for an open dyslexic one, if that helps you, if you suffer from dyslexia, or indeed any colleagues you know that might benefit from this. You can ask them to install the extension, and it can be quickly toggled on and off. We've mentioned a lot about generative AI today, and one of the experiments, we'll call it an experiment, is when we look at an element on the page like a text area like this, if we wire up ChatGPT to that, what options then open up? And if we enable a smart editor feature, you see it gets a nice AI-enabled glow. And we can provide prompts that we can send what you've written into ChatGPT. Again, the research and development kicks in, says, right, how can we do this in a secure way? How can we make sure that the access keys are protected, and start to ask questions about sensitive data. But the basic prompts there would let you say, right, let's simplify that language, and then the machine can go off and think about it. And this is trained with a prompt that says, you're a customer service agent, you're going to get this kind of text, you need to provide good suggestions. And yeah, so this goes off and rewrites my Gen Z reply into something a bit more appropriate for a customer service agency. And we can copy that and paste that in. And again, what's important is that this isn't a polished product. It's not the end point. This is the start point of the conversation. If we have this capability, and if we roll this out to other areas of software, or into Jadu Central for content editors or people writing other stuff, what capabilities could you see being beneficial? What could we provide with this kind of technology? the biggest feature that we've been able to distribute through labs so far is visual workflow. And we talked about this about 2 years ago, about our intention to improve the way that you interact with workflows within Jadu Connect and how you build them out. Workflows you have statuses, you have transitions, and they're connected together. And even once you reach a fairly modest size of a workflow, they become very hard to understand. And we had a round of workshops and conversations with a few customers based off that last academy, and learned a lot about their how they use workflow and their issues with when managing complex workflows. See this one's a fairly small one, but straight away we've got statuses hidden behind labels. So a lot of customers actually go outside the software and draw this out. They go into Visio or even pen and paper. You've seen the screenshots where they're taking up an entire wall just to map out workflows, because to look at this table, it's very, very hard. And we know that, and you know that. So if we switch on the visual workflow feature, that's going to straight away take that table of information and build you in real time what should probably be in your head, in my head, of how it should work. And this comes in incredibly useful if you adopt a workflow that maybe you've not built and you're asked to make a change. It's a bit like diffusing a bomb. I think someone described it to me, you don't know which wire to cut and you're scared of doing the wrong thing. So to be able to see that table of information straight away represented in a visual way is extremely powerful. And doesn't really stop there. You can interact with this diagram. You can hover over a specific node, and it will show you the connections, what statuses and transitions are feeding. Well, transitions are in yellow. The table below is highlighted, so you can kind of match up mentally what's going on. So you can see which transitions feed into this status. The rows are highlighted below, so you can see where that's appearing. And even if it's hidden behind a badge like that one there, it's still highlighted for you. So you can start to understand and make sense of these diagrams. And you can interact with the table below as well, hovering over and quickly identifying and referencing where in that diagram these particular elements are. These can be exported to image formats, PNG or SVG, so you can print them out. You could, so I mean, some of the workflows you guys have built are very, very large. If we go into, I wasn't going to do it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to go into Blue Badge. Because what is this? This is 43 statuses, 71 transitions, not to mention the amount of forms. This is an absolute monster. And yeah, this is a large workflow. So we're going to just show all the rows. And we're just going to give it a second. But there it is. I mean, we can expand this a little bit. And we can refit it, but even still, it's massive. We can zoom to 100%, and we can start to really dive in, and we can move about the diagram, of course. But you can see just the amount of connections that are required. Jadu Connect's very configurable, very powerful software. If you are blessed with a widescreen monitor, we can split that view, and I suspect this will be one that you may need to send off to a specialist printer if you wanted to get that off on your side. It's like Joey and Friends where he got to walk into the map. More paper. But your settings in Jadu Labs are saved. If you are logged into your browser, those persist. So if you move from machine to machine and you're signed into that browser, those settings are still available to you there. So please download it, install it, tell your colleagues, have a play, and send me some of your workflow images because I'd like to see some. And there's a feedback button built right in there, so let us know what you think. Is that everyone now?
That's everyone. Thank you.